following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin. Hey, I'm Christine.
And I'm Janice.
And this is 50 Shades of Bullshit.
Hello.
Well, hi.
Hi, how's it going? I've missed you. I've missed the show and I've missed the audience. So glad to be back. It's been a few weeks. How's it been going with Jada?
It's been going great with Jada. Jada's a lot of fun. I love her. She's been fantastic. But we have missed you. So this was great to have you back tonight.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Jada's doing some kind of function tonight. I talked to her earlier and she's off doing that. She was going to try to catch the show. So we'll see.
Super. Well, if she's there, hi, Jada.
I know, Jada.
And hi, everybody else.
Well, I've, been sick the last couple of weeks. Let me get rid of my cough drop. I was dying. So today we were actually talking about dating horror stories, Tinder horror stories. And we have this guy named Max who is kind of like Phil. Hey, Phil. Happy to have you back this week. Thank you. So
you're now on mute.
It's going to be one of those fucking days.
You're doing great.
Yeah. So today was supposed to be Max joining us. Hopefully he remembers to join us. He was super excited when I sent him all the information about the show. He's a guy who does TikTok videos talking about his horror stories and his dating situation. And he was really excited to be here today, and I don't know where he is. So
the two of us can talk about dating horror stories.
We will. So, I joined TikTok not too long ago, and I do these random little videos. I think I joined right before New Year's. So it's been 9 months since I joined. And I got up to like 800 viewers or people following me, and did these little, funny videos, nothing really. And I saw this like trend where people are talking about their horror stories and all their dating catastrophes. And I thought, boy, do I have some of those.
Yes, you do.
So, Janice, you remember back in, I think it was May, you were hosting with me, and I told you about the guy who pooped his pants.
Well, first you told me about it on the phone, and I was absolutely dying, laughing. I could not believe. Actually, no, you sent me a voice memo with the entire story in it. And then later that night, you read to me the text exchange that you had with him after. Yeah. So I remember it. I think that would be impossible
to forget.
Story to forget.
So I decided to do story time on TikTok, and I did that dating story. And first of all, there were a couple of people who said, I don't believe this story. It's too far-fetched.
I mean, it's wild. It is
wild. And I was like, well, you don't have to believe it, but I lived it. So buckle up, buttercups. There's more coming. So I did this TikTok, and I went from 800 followers in a day and a half to 1,500 followers. It went so fast. And I was like, whoa. It was really funny. In the original video, the first one, there's 4 videos because they're only 3 minutes long. It was like cutting an hour and a half of chaos into 12 minutes. That was hard. So what I did is I put this video out there, and the first one has 17,000 views.
Oh,
And I was
that's so
like,
exciting. I'm so
that's
happy
so
for
funny.
you.
It's funny. So
Well, I mean, I bet I would assume people are sharing it because I mean, I've never heard a story like that before.
well, yeah, Lola's right. Shit does
Shit
happen.
happens. Oh man. Actually, I'm trying to remember if it was when I heard the voice memo or when you were telling me about it later that I was like dry heaving. I was like gagging because it's so disgusting. Oh man. Like I think I was telling you to stop because like my gag reflexes were
And
going.
I hadn't even gotten to the shitting of his pants by then. I think I was just telling you how he was eating.
You were telling me about the chicken wings.
Well,
I mean, do you want to give an overview? We are here
Yeah.
to talk about dating horror stories.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I'll do a quick overview on that one. It was a guy who was a chef. We had that in common. He lives in Northern California. He's from England, but he lives in Northern California. And he was coming to Burbank to do some kind of ticket. He had to go to court for some ticket. I know, it's funny. So he flew in, and we had talked I think 3 times before he came in. And a long story short, we were supposed to meet at 8:00 at a dive bar here in Burbank. And he went and took a Lyft or a what are they called? Uber, thank you. Down to like Manhattan Beach or Huntington Beach or something. And that's well over an hour away and then an hour back. And he was
I
running
didn't know
late.
that part of it.
So when he was coming back, he texted me, I'm running late. And I said, okay, we can meet at 9 then. I get over there. He's not there. He decides, by the way, that any place that he has to walk further than a block, he doesn't want to go to the dive bar. And I was like,
Okay.
you just took a Lyft 2 hours, but okay, fine. So he picked BJ's, which was right across the street from his hotel. And I get over there, and he's not there, and he's not there. And he's watching me from another part of the restaurant. And he's like texting me, and I'm like, he's like, are you have blue in your hair? Are you this? Are you that? And I was like, what the actual what? So he does come down, sit down. He's acting weird. He's acting like he's either high or he's drunk. And I'm asking him, are you high right now? Are you drunk right now? And he's saying no. He's humiliating the people to the left, to the right. He's saying rude things about them out loud. He's now farting. He's farting a lot. He's blaming it on everybody walking by or the people at the table behind us. He orders beer after beer after beer. He's eating his chicken wings that he ordered because he said he was starving, like a madman. I won't go into details because that's pretty gross. This just keeps perpetuating. It's getting worse and worse and worse, and the farting's getting worse and worse. And I said, maybe you might want to go to the bathroom on that last one. And he's like, yeah, I gotta pee. So he gets up to go. And he walks towards the bathroom. Instead of going straight for the bathroom, he darts out the front door. And I'm looking over, and there's a wall of windows. And when you pull into the parking lot, the parking is up in this parking structure. So it's a big open, maybe 100, maybe 50-foot parking lot. Okay, 50 by 50. And he's roaming in circles like, oh, where am I? And then he walks over to the street, and I walk to the windows to watch him. And he's like leaning over the bushes. He's like, he's doing this. He doesn't know where he's at. He's like, I'm like dying. And the bartender goes, what is going on? Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, that fool out there is on something, and he's lost. And he's laughing. And then all of a sudden he turns around and he's looking up, and then it hits him. It's his hotel.
Oh
And
my
he's
God.
knees high, arms. He's like a little kid. He's running across the fucking street. And he gets over to the hotel. And I was like, he just left me. He just left me there. So I went back to the bar and I paid the check and I went home and I texted him, dude, what you did to me was not okay. Leaving me with your bill.
Oh,
This
man.
is bullshit. And he texted me back, I shit my pants and I'm still on the toilet.
Grown ass.
So the next day, he starts texting me, yeah, when you gotta go, you gotta go. He just went in his poopy pants. So
Oh my God.
the next day, it was my podcast day, and he's like, "Holy shit, you have a podcast? Please don't say my name. You can talk about me, but don't say my name." And I was like, "Yeah, I won't say your name." Quite frankly, I forgot his name now, so I don't even remember. But
Yay.
he did say he was on DMT. He was on drugs.
But didn't you said mescaline, right? You know what?
Oh,
Not that it
mescaline.
matters.
You're right. It was mescaline.
Because that, I mean, DMT's even, that would be even more insane. Oh,
Wouldn't it?
that's so
He'd be seeing
wild.
purple girls. Woo!
Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, see,
So
that's what I would call a Tinder horror story for sure. Do you still have the text messages? 'Cause
I
they were
was looking
hilarious.
for them today, and they must. So my phone does weird things. When I get to a certain point in my texts, if I have too many, it starts deleting them. Like they just disappear, and I don't know where they went. I knew I had saved them, but I can't find them. And I know I'd sent them to you, but I can't find the texts I sent to you. They're not there. So I'm
Oh, damn. I mean, I have a fairly new iPhone. I might be able to go back up and at least see what you
ooh,
have sent me, even though that was a
if
while ago and we text a lot. So I I just
if
call
you
him.
see it, let me know. I want
Yeah.
to screenshot it and put it on TikTok because they don't believe me.
Well, yeah, in fact, what would be really great is if I can scroll up far enough to get the original voicemail that you sent me. And you can play that on on TikTok.
Oh my god. There was
Oh,
so
goodness.
much that happened at that date, but that pretty much was the gist of it.
The gist of it. Well, yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, how could you have vetted that guy more or differently
Mm,
to
I don't know.
suss things out a little bit more? I mean, looking back,
That's a
was
good
there
question.
anything in the text or the DMs that
Not
would
a
have
thing.
indicated, I don't know, that he has a drug or a bowel problem?
No, I think because he was on the hallucinogenic drugs that they did cause havoc in his body, and
I
I
mean,
don't
that
know.
can definitely happen. I just don't really understand why you would do that on a first date. I mean,
Well,
that's
because
pretty psychotic.
he I don't h I y that's a good question. That is crazy. It's probably because he saw his friend for the first time in a long time. He was hanging out with him and thought, "Oh, what the harm?" And took it, not thinking, and then realizing he had a fucking date with me, and then was like, "Oh, I have a date with this cute girl," and then because I 'cause
Wow.
I'm 'cause I'm
That's
cute.
wild. I mean, God, he could have canceled. But then we want to be here talking about it today. I
Yeah.
mean, you had a few doozies right in a row there.
Oh, I think my next video, I'm gonna ask people what they want, what story do they want to hear. And I think I'm gonna give them the choice of the Best Buy date, Best Buy parking lot
All
date,
right.
or birthday drunk. You remember the birthday
Yeah,
drunk dude?
yeah, yeah.
Or the time that I was immediately blindfolded and thought I was going to be kidnapped.
Yep. 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 I know all of those stories. And man, I don't really even know which one. I mean, Mescaline Boy probably takes the cake for all of them. But out of those three, I mean,
Yeah.
they're all equally horrifying, if you ask me.
I have more. I just have to call my friends and say, what are some of the other dating stories I've told you? Because,
Shit is definitely worth documenting and having a record of.
well, I started years ago when I first started dating. I started writing kind of like a diary of everything because I thought originally 50 Shades of Bullshit was going to be a book about how to avoid the pitfalls of this crazy dating world. And I realized there's no avoiding it. The
I was
people
just
are
going to say, because you've learned so well how to avoid it.
I'm gonna die. I can't help myself. Well, nowadays I feel like I purposely go out with these fucking fools because it makes for great stories and it makes for, nobody wants to hear about the date that I went to Starbucks and we sat and talked for 45 minutes and it was nice and it was casual and I went home, he went home and we never spoke again. Nobody wants to hear that story.
Yeah.
It's fucking boring.
Mhm.
But people want to hear about birthday drunk and poopy pants and Best
Well, I
Buy
actually
parking
think
lot
that
date.
the Best Buy parking lot story might be appropriate for this episode.
Yeah. This is when I first started dating. After I'd broken up with a long-term relationship. So I got divorced in 2011, I think it was. And I dated someone right away from Match and we were together for a year and a half. And it took a year and a half to realize that he had problems. He hid it really well. And then I was single for a year and I was kind of dating. And then I met someone and lived with him for 2 years. And he's a wonderful guy. There's nothing wrong with him. I just was enabling him to not go get his life's, desires. Um, he could be lazy with me, and I don't know why he thought so, but we broke up and I started dating. And this dude had really cute pictures. I think it was off of OK Cupid. And he had cute pictures and he had a good profile and we started texting. And we called on the phone, and I remember thinking he had a really cute voice. Okay, great. And he lived about, I'd say about 30, 20, it would be about 25, 30-minute drive. And he asked me if I'd come up to his area. And I said, sure, I don't have a problem with that. So I drove out there and of course I've got GPS and I said, what bar are we going to? Because we're going to meet at his favorite local bar. And I said, what bar are we going to go to? And he says, well, there's a Best Buy right off the exit. And he said, I'll meet you there and then you can follow me.
What?
And I was
That
like,
in and of itself, that's stupid.
I didn't
Okay.
understand. I thought I was trying to make up all these reasons why that would happen. And I was thinking, I don't know why. So I'm calling my best friend Gabby, as everybody knows Gabby. Um, I'm fu- I'm calling her on the way because Gabby has my GPS. And she always knows where I'm at. So I always give her a heads up when I go on a date so that someone knows that if I don't call her and tell her what's happening or what happened, she knows to check on
I
me.
get it. Yeah, okay.
Got to be safe out there, sisters. So,
well, especially when you're meeting men in parking lots.
it's Best Buy. It's in a public place. So I call her on the way and I said, he wants me to follow him. She goes, why doesn't he just give you the address? I said, I can't figure that out. I don't know. I said, maybe he wants to make sure I'm who I say I am instead of me walking into a bar where he's normally at. And, maybe he doesn't want me to know where that bar is if he doesn't like me after all. Or maybe he may think I might not look like my pictures, which I do, or that I'm not real or whatever. Lots of excuses in my head. So I'm on the phone with her and he calls me and I'm pulling into the parking lot.
Oh my God.
So I pull in and I said, Gabby, hold on a second. I'm going to take this. Hold on. So I click over and he says, hey, I'm stopping at the liquor store. Do you want anything?
Oh my God.
And I no, forgive me. I don't think he said liquor store. He said, I'm stopping at the store. Can I get you something to drink? That's what he said. And I said, no, I'm good. He goes, you don't want anything? And I was like, well, no, we're going to the bar. So no, I'm good. He goes, okay, just thought I'd ask.
Presumably, we can drink there.
So I go to the parking lot and I'm sitting there, I'm talking to Gabby, and he pulls up. And I said, okay, I'll call you in a bit. So he pulls up and my car's on the left. He pulls up on the right. So I look through my passenger window and see him. And I'm thinking, I don't think he really looks like the person. But I was like, I didn't have time to stop and look on his profile to see if it's the same picture. So he sits there and he looks at me and he's just looking at me. And I'm like, I roll the window down. I'm like, okay, am I following you now? And he goes, no, come on over. Let's talk for a minute. And I was like,
God.
what the actual, what? So, Lola had a parking lot date too. Oh my God.
Yeah, and she says I had a guy get totally wasted on a date before as well. Yeah, I've had some of that, but that's like the extent of my bad stories is
it?
They were drunk or got drunk.
Fuck.
So go on.
So he's like, come on over for a minute. So I get out and I walk over to his window and I'm like, what's the deal? What's up? He goes, hop on in for 2 seconds. Well, let's just chat for a second. And I was like, oh shit, do I get in the car? So I thought, okay. I don't know why I did it, but I did.
No victim blaming.
Don't do it, folks. So I get in his car and we're sitting there and he's like, hi, and he hugs me. And I was like, hi. He's like, oh, you look so much like your pictures. You're so pretty, blah, blah, blah. And I said, you don't really look like your pictures. I was like, how did you go from this like European Dutch looking guy to this Mexican dude?
It was that different? Okay.
So I'm like, okay. And he was really cute. Don't get me wrong. He was cute.
I mean, a different person. Do you think he used fake photos?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So I'm like, I feel a little weird. I feel a little comfortable. What's going on? And he's like, oh, let's just chat for a minute. And he chatted and chatted and chatted. And he opens up the little console in between the seats and he pulls out a brown paper bag. And it has those 40, is that what they're called? 40s?
Yeah.
Big beer. And it dawns on me why he has asked me on the phone if I wanted something to drink. We were never going to go to the stupid fucking bar. He's in the parking lot with me, and he's now created his own bar in his SUV.
40 nonetheless.
So he pulls out this 40 and he's drinking and he's talking and I'm just sitting there going, this is a shit show. So he's going on and on and on. And to this day, I couldn't have relayed what he said. I was like, this guy can talk. And he's going on and on and on. And he goes, hold on a second. And he opens his door and he goes out. And he pees on his tire.
Oh my God, I forgot this part of the story.
He pees on his tire and he gets back in and he finishes it. And then he pulls out a second one.
Oh my God. A 40? A second 40?
And he's drinking the second 40. And I'm thinking, holy shit. Now, how can I literally, honest to God, I thought, how can I get out of this car and really, how can I get out of this car and let him drive away? I
Oh,
mean,
because he's drunk?
because he drank that and he was acting kind of like slurry
Yeah.
now. And I was
Yeah.
like, fuck, I felt responsible. And
I
so,
mean, you're definitely not, in my opinion, but I understand the concern.
yeah.
But
So he starts talking about his ex. Now I'm going to say X in this way, and I'm going to put quotation marks because honestly, as he's talking about his ex, it sounds like his girlfriend or his wife. It really does. And the way he's talking about her, he is bashing her. And I'm going to be frank with you guys out there in the land of dating. Stop talking about your exes
yeah,
and stop talking shitty about your exes.
yeah.
We don't want to hear about that because we know that if you're going to talk about them like that when you break up with us or we break up with you, or even if we get in a fight, if we're still together, you're going to talk about us that way.
Well, also some exes are out there. So I mean, we have some pretty crazy exes ourselves, but your
Yeah,
new partner or no partner wants to be drawn into that at all. Like this
exactly.
is between you and your ex. It's not between you, your ex, and this new person. It's
Yep.
really unbecoming. It's a real downer. So
Mhm.
yeah, leave it out. Leave it out.
Yeah. So he is drinking this second beer. He finishes it. He gets out of his car again, and he oh my god, I'm dying. He pees on his car tire again. But it's funny because he peed on the back tire the first time and then he peed on the front
I
tire the
love it.
second time.
I
And I'm
love
like,
it. Gotta keep it even.
this is so fucking entertaining. So I'm thinking I have got to go. And I said to him, I really have to go. I can't stay any longer. I have to get home.
Yeah, this has been too much fun.
No,
I need
it's
to
been
contain
so
myself.
exciting. So I said, I gotta go. And he's like, can I hug you? I was like, sure. So I hug him and he tries to kiss me. And I said, no, 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 thank you. So he he lets me get out of the car and I leave. Now the next day he sends me text saying, that was the best date ever.
What the
You are
hell?
so much fun.
This is like
Can,
certifiably insane.
can we do that again? I was like, that's like poopy pants. You know, he
No.
asked me the
Why
next
even
day if
ask
he
you
could
on a
swing
date
again.
to sit in your car? This doesn't seem like it just doesn't make any sense.
No, no, no. Now, really, honestly, Janice, you've not had any crazy dates?
Not to this level. Not at this level, no.
Well, nobody has this level all the
No,
time,
I mean,
except for
I've had
me.
bad things happen on dates, but I mean, this is why it would have been good to have another guest because my stories are not really that crazy. I wouldn't really call them horror stories
Ah.
necessarily. I've definitely had guys get drunk,
Mm,
definitely had guys be quite pushy.
yeah.
A few months back, yeah, I had someone who was really pursuing me and we got together for a drink. I thought it was gonna, he seemed like a good guy. And he had, I think, like 4 beers and like 3 shots in the time that I had 2 little, margaritas. And then didn't even offer to pay. I mean, so I would call that a bad date, but I don't really know that we
Mm,
would say horror story.
oh my gosh. Well,
Mhm.
I think out of
Well, actually, I had a date again. Sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah,
I think I told you a few weeks ago that I had a bad date. But
yeah,
again, not really a horror story, but this was pretty bad actually. And again, that he's just pounding the booze. I think
yeah, what's
in both
with that?
cases the guys were both a little nervous. is how I took it, because they seemed nervous and they, were excited to see me. And, I think we met at a wine bar. We're going to have, wine and then go to an Italian place across the street. And I think I had 2 glasses. Now I have a high tolerance. I don't want any, I know that might seem like a lot, but we were talking. He had 4, I think, glasses of wine. And then
okay.
before we even leave to go to the Italian place, he starts with his hand up my skirt.
Oh,
Just
yeah, that
I
dude.
didn't even know him, and I kept pushing him away. The first couple times he did it, he kind of laughed it off, and I was like, it wasn't quite like I'm out of here territory. But then we get to the Italian place, and I order my burrata because I love burrata from this place. And again, I think he had like 2 more glasses of wine, didn't even touch the burrata. And he would not stop putting his hand up my skirt. And we're talking, this is a classy place. And I'm sitting here like moving his hand and being like, no, no. And then finally, I just was like, I think I should walk you to your car. And I did. And I actually walked in the opposite direction of where I was even going to go, because I didn't want him to see what I was up to. So I was pretty bummed out, because, I had actually met him in person the first time, out and about in my neighborhood, and he seemed really decent, and on paper seemed like I said, like a really good guy. And so it was very disappointing, and also really, really annoying. I actually went back to the Italian place because I'm kind of a regular there. And I walked in and everyone was like, "Oh, girl."
They saw it.
It was all you. I kept on seeing you moving his hand. And the bartender's like, "Drinks on me." He's all, "That was horrible. I'm sorry."
Aw. That's funny.
Yeah. Horror story. Definitely not a good story. And you know what the funny thing is? I ran into him because, like I said, he lives in my neighborhood. And I said hi. I don't want bad blood necessarily with people I'm running into. And, gave him a hug, and he came over and he was going to show me pictures of his remodel. He sits down next to me and puts his leg touching mine. I'm like, what is happening with you?
He's a touchy-feely kind of guy.
I guess so.
I really think that people should maybe take dating etiquette or something, read dating etiquette before they go out on a date. It's like these guys seem to think that they could be drinking too much and touching too much, and it's like
just so basic is what I don't understand about the getting drunk and touching when you've said no. I mean, this isn't, this is dating 101. This is decent human 101.
Well, some people just don't want to take the word no ever, unfortunately. That's a whole nother show, which we are going to have. I'm going to have that show when no is interpreted as whatever.
I mean, I think some men just don't care what you say.
Right. They're gonna behave any way they want.
Well, I mean, this was the perfect example. I was not giving off touch my leg vibes, plus the fact that I moved his hand, plus the fact that I was saying no.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I love that.
You know what? The funny thing is, I was pretty obviously, pissed. I didn't tell him off at his car or anything, but, saying you've got to go, date's over. I was surprised. To get the text the next day saying what a great time he had and wants to hang out again.
Yeah, it's like we're on two different dates. It's like he's in one parallel universe and you're in another. And I've always loved the concept of he said, she said, essentially. I had actually thought about doing a TV show where it was filming a date, and the observer obviously sees what happens and then separate them and then hear how he thought the date went and what happened and hear what she said and hear, because I always find that kind of fascinating, how 2 people can be in the same circumstance and have completely different ideas of what happened.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And again, I'm not, that could just go back to, I'm going to have her. And it's not really about what she's putting off or what she's saying, kind of just deciding that they're going to be with you without really gauging how you are feeling about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. People are strange.
They are strange. But you've had some Tinder dates more recently.
Yeah, I had a date fairly recently. Sean and I broke up, and
You muted yourself again.
I have um my mic cord is acting up. So anything that touches or the air that moves around it will make
It's
uh
the air.
yeah, it was nothing special. It just was a normal date. Went to dinner, and he was very nice, and that was it. And then we never really spoke after that. I did text him and say, do you typically not talk to women after go out on a date with them? And
Oh, snap, girl.
he said actually, I didn't think you were interested. And I said, well, what would give you that impression? He goes, oh, you didn't blow my phone up. And I was like,
Oh,
I do not
women
need to
out
blow your
there,
phone
women
up.
of the world.
I was thinking, I was trying to get back into the dating world after Sean. I don't know.
Well, look, I you know how I feel about it. I think taking single time is one of the best things you can do for your dating life. So,
Yeah. We were
especially
long
after
distance.
everything, that's happened, it could be good to maybe just chill for a bit.
Yeah. I'm not in any hurry. I don't really care, quite frankly. Um, I've got a lot on my plate. I've got a lot of things going, and working on my career. And my daughter, my oldest daughter, is going to have my grandson either tonight, tomorrow, or Saturday. I
Okay, I didn't know it was that close. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're hoping she goes into the hospital tonight, so I'm gonna have a grandson any day now.
Great.
So I've got that going on. Just kind of working on stuff for the podcast, and booking people who don't show up. Those kind of
Oh,
things.
girl, I'm here for you. Yeah, I was talking with someone today on their Instagram live about how, I kind of prefer to date multiple people at once, and I don't really, get too excited about people sleeping over. And she was like, well, how do you date so much if you're not really that into dating? And I said, because people want to go out with me because I'm happy and confident. And so I attract people. But as far
Yeah.
as like priorities in my life, yeah, I'm cool as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not I don't think there's anything really going on that I need to be too worried about whether someone wants to be with me or not. I am pretty, confident and happy with where I am, and I'm taking care of me and my kids, and
Yeah, it's a
you
good
know.
place to be in. However, if you're going to be doing this TikTok thing, we need more horror stories, Christine. So,
Well,
let's not get too dry.
I've got fucking 13 years of horror stories
Okay.
lined up. So I'm going to be pulling out the old stories and telling those because I just don't, I'm not really in the mood to have another horror story. I'm really not.
Maybe that was a phase of your life, and yeah, maybe it's what would be the opposite of horror? Fantasy Tinder date stories.
Well, it'd be kind of cool if there was like some interesting, exciting, sexy things going on. But uh, those don't really happen.
Oh, I don't know.
um, Yeah, here, someone wants to share a comment with us. Oh gosh, Lola, yes. I met a guy through a friend who talked on the phone for 2 weeks before going out on a date. He was romantic, sweet, and wrote me poetry. He
Pick me up.
something picked me up, and we went to dinner. He was nice and a gentleman like at dinner. We went upstairs to the nightclub and he proceeded to get super drunk and handsy, fuckers. I told him I wanted to go home. Could he take me home? He forced me to dance with him first where he forced himself on me,
Oh,
stuck his tongue in my mouth, grabbed my boobs and other areas. I pushed him away. Lola, babe, you are not alone. Um, it, it's weird. It seems to, I don't know what the problem is, but I feel like it's almost to the point where men think that if you agree to go out with them, we've agreed to let them do whatever they want. And that is not reality, folks.
yeah.
That's not okay. Lola, I'm sorry that happened to you, sister. I think it's happened to almost every woman out there. And I'm sure it happens to men. I'm sure it happens to anybody that is dating and they're with somebody who obviously doesn't understand boundaries or respect. Unfortunately, you know. Oh, Lola, I can see the backstory here. And Lola says that's not the end of the story. It gets worse.
Oh
Ah!
no. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Lola. And I hope that, Christine's stories will assure you that it does, yeah, it does happen to a lot of us. And any men listening, don't. No.
No.
Mm.
Stop
But
it.
you know what? I do also want to say though, that definitely, I do not believe that all men are like this at all. Have several men that I can just think off the top of my head that I've either been involved with or I'm friends with currently right now who are
Yeah.
remarkable men who would be grossed out by this behavior for
Y-
sure.
Yeah.
So if companionship and relationship is something that you desire, I know that it's possible to find a good guy.
Yeah. Well, I think that there are good guys out there. Lola actually, let's tell about Lola. Lola's engaged and
Hmm.
getting married in December. And I actually know Lola because I did her wedding 10 years ago. I think it's 10 years ago now. Her first husband, it didn't work out after a couple of years. It didn't go so great. And she was smart and got out, had a beautiful son, is raising her son, and met someone several years ago and was friends with him. I believe they were friends first. And then now they're engaged and getting married, and I'm doing her wedding again,
Right.
which I am thrilled to do.
Right.
I'm super excited for Lola.
Doesn't happen to be the cowboy wedding, does it?
Cowboy wedding?
Or you said potentially that you were looking to source a ranch for a wedding for someone?
Oh, yeah, no, different
Okay.
couple. Yeah, yeah. I'm like cowboy.
Cowboy wedding. That's gonna be my wedding. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I'm planning my future wedding. Um, no, I do manifest a lot, and I manifest, what I want all the time. And I do have to continue to believe that there is somebody really great out there.
I
Uh,
think getting more specific on what you want in a man, because you manifested a man, I think maybe just getting clear on what the ideal picture looks like to you. You're gonna get it. I know it.
well, this is the thing. The man I manifested uh, verbally was all those things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because we had a long distance relationship. We could only talk or video. And he said all the right things, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but when it came down to it and we met in person, he wasn't able to make his actions meet his words, unfortunately. And so it didn't work out. And that's fine. I mean, I'm sorry that it didn't work out. I wish that it could have, but it didn't. And I'm okay with that. And he's not okay with that, which I'm sorry for him. But you know, he should get his life together, and then someone wonderful will come along for him too.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know?
and that's actually a really good point. I've also dated men semi recently who just, yeah, didn't have their life together, and just like things that I just was thinking to myself, like, don't you want to kind of sort this out before you find a partner? Like,
Mhm.
this is just kind of
Mhm.
chaotic and messy, and things that
Mhm.
really need to give attention to. And so I would encourage people, if you're looking for a serious relationship, to kind of look at your life
Mhm.
and see if maybe there's something that you want to get wrapped up or resolved before you bring someone else into the picture. Especially
100%.
strong, independent women like us. I really want someone who's got it together.
Mhm. I do too. I mean, I want somebody who, makes me a priority, makes me feel desired, and want somebody who can, take that time to show me that I'm important in his life, but also behave appropriately. And a lot of these men don't know how to behave appropriately, which is sad.
It
I'm
is
sure
sad, but yep.
there's women out there too that cannot behave appropriately. Max was supposed to be on the show to tell us that. He
Oh, right. Oh,
he
I would have enjoyed hearing that. But you know what? And we should maybe source another guest, because I would really love to hear the flip side of some of these dating horror stories. Because I have lots of female friends. They're not telling me horror stories about things that they do. I don't hear as much women's bad behavior. So I would be curious, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
maybe we can work together to source that for another time.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sad and disappointed because Max is cute as hey y'all. Hey yo. Yeah. I'm making myself choke there. He's very cute. If he lived closer, I'd be all up in that business. He's really good to look at.
Oh,
Tattoos,
you.
cute face, great smile, good teeth, beautiful eyes. Woo! Honey. But he has some dating stories that were like these women were what were they thinking?
Hmm.
And I don't think people think. I really don't think people think.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
what are you going to do?
Oh, I
But
mean, this is a conversation that we could really continue to go on for definitely, yeah, the next hour. What motivates people to act the way that they do on dates.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know. That's a good question.
but I do
I
I do want to just quickly say, I think it comes down often to two things, which is desperation sometimes, and also
Mhm.
just complete lack of confidence sometimes as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's good because you were asking, earlier about Mr. Poopy Pants. How could he do this? And it could be that he had told me he lives in a very small posh town in Northern California and there's no opportunity for him to date up there. He could have been nervous. He could have been like really not knowing what to do and he thought that this would loosen him up and it loosened up something. It loosened up
From head to foot and
loosens up
everything in
his
between.
sphincter. He had some loose stool there. He sharted.
God. Oh my God.
So yeah, yeah, it could be. I think that maybe men drink too much on a date or women drink too much on a date because they are nervous and they think that it'll loosen them up. It'll make them feel, more comfortable.
And see,
Who
that I
knows?
get, but you need to know what you can handle.
Mhm.
I enjoy drinking on dates, but I know what my limit is. And if you're drinking to relieve nervousness, to me, that seems like a normal, natural thing that you may do on a first date. But don't you know that you can't handle 6 glasses of wine? Like, you would know how much wine you can drink and how much you would need to get relaxed and then stop.
Yeah, people have no control. They really don't. Um, I will say that I think that your date was probably just thinking, I'm going to shoot my shot and thinking that if he touched you or his love language could have been touch.
Mhm.
And he thought, well, maybe if I show her in a touchy feely way that I want her, she'll want me back. It's really hard to say what is going on in somebody else's head. But you never know. Not to make excuses for him, But
I see what you're saying. You know, and like I said, he did seem like a good guy before all that alcohol got in him. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. But I mean, again, it goes back to, you know, good intentions, you know, that, you know, can only get you so far. And, you know, I still want, you know, he didn't ask to touch me. And I do think that, you know, consent should become a habit. And it obviously wasn't a habit for him.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can get consent even if you're tipsy. I don't know.
Right. Phil, I know you're still there. One of these times you'll have to let us know. We're running out of time. I got to sign off in like 2 seconds. You'll have to tell us if you had any dating stories.
Yeah, but, we should have him on sometime. We've talked about that before.
Yeah. So Phil, you'll have to come on with us. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, even though my guest did not show up. We had an entertaining time.
I'm cool.
We talked like we normally do without the camera and the microphone. We just chit chatting like bitches on the phone. But thank you everyone for coming out and watching and hanging out with us, listening to us today. And Janice, thanks for coming back. I'm going to have you back again really, really soon. Oh, next week, really quickly, I'm recording with Janice an episode of X-Files. And what are we talking about?
Victim blaming.
Yeah, that's a big one. So I'll let you guys know when that airs. And until next week, come back, same place, same time. And until then, keep it real.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50 Shades of _bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.